Welcome back to Nets Republic. If I look like just completely destroyed, like I'm just throwing a boot, it's because I fell asleep again in the third quarter. But I rewound it. I recorded the game this time to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I rewound it and rewatched it. That's why this video is coming out so late. But I watched the whole game. I saw the comeback. It was one of those things where we were just getting slapped around, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It's too late at night. But then I was like, you know what? Let me go back and see what's going on. Because I woke up and the game was over. So I was like, okay, let me go back and see what's going on. I go back to the middle of the third quarter, and that's when the comeback began properly. And this was kind of an interesting game because I was getting on here prepared to talk trash about Jacque Vaughn and say, well, this is what happens when you get out coached. You know, this is what happens when your only game plan is, you know, ISO best player on the court. You know, it's just not going to work. You can't just rely on people just buying into hustle and grit and all that type of stuff. All of those like imaginary intangibles. And then Jacque Vaughn basically told me to shut my fat butt up. Whoa, who is doing Need for Speed outside? It's like midnight, but that's not here or there. You know, move over to the mountains, you hear some crazy stuff, but that's not here or there. But yeah, Jacque Vaughn basically told me to shut my fat butt up, and I did, basically, because I never seen no comeback like that before. Now, obviously, being a Nets fan, we've seen multiple comebacks of this type of nature, be it the 2 times that we were playing the Suns that one time, or was it the Kings? I can't remember. Obviously, there's like the Kings example several years ago in the D-Lo days, but I mean, like, wasn't it like a comeback against the Suns a couple times, like when we had Harden and stuff like that? I can't remember, but we normally every season there's some type of comeback where we mark it as like that game. I think we're already having ours, and this is game number 4, but it was quite the comeback. I mean, there were multiple times where we got it somewhat close, but then the Heat just kept making impossible baskets and just, you know, finding the open man and such, but we were able to keep it going. You know, there was even times where we took the lead and it was looking like the Heat were going to come and take it back. Tyler Hero hit a insane out-of-bounds 3. I mean, it was like literal 2K type stuff, but we were still able to maintain and take over and handle our business. Now, in the beginning of the game, Cam Thomas was messing up quite a bit. I mean, he could not buy a basket. Part of it is because the refs just refused to call a foul for some reason, so much so he actually got a tech. And you know, Cam isn't really that animated or whatever, but yeah, he gets fouled pretty aggressively, and the refs just don't call it. But aside from the fact that he wasn't getting the proper calls that he honestly should, I don't want to say poor shot selection, because again, we don't really have a game plan, so it's just, you know, whoever feels confident enough, just take the shot. And with no Spencer Dinwiddie, no Dennis Smith Jr., we're like down a backup point guard. So it's just Ben Simmons and Royce O'Neal, of all people, running point, which again, we've seen this in some instances, but they were really just kind of relying on that shuffle. So in terms of moving the ball and having a game plan, when Ben Simmons would sit down, it's not like they just gave the ball to Lonnie Walker and say, okay, just handle it. It was literally just Royce O'Neal running point. So you can imagine things were getting sloppy, things were getting choppy. It wasn't the prettiest of affairs, but the Nets, and I hate to say it, but shout out to Jacque Vaughn, they just bought in. They just locked in and said, we're going to hustle our way to a victory. We're going to get after it our way to a victory. We're going to go after the 50-50 balls, all that shenanigans to a victory. And they did. Off of the strength of just, I don't know, hard work. They just went out there and beat the Heat. Now, the Heat are trash on paper, but, I mean, they're still the Heat. And there were times when they were looking unbeatable. I mean, we were down by 20 at one point, but the Nets just battled back and handled their business. And I got to say, I got to give credit to Jacque Vaughn. I really do. Because I don't know how you can, again, how we beat a team with no center is just insane to me. It just doesn't make sense. We don't have a center, and we went out there and won again. And this time it was against Bam Adebayo. When it's the Hornets, you know, I don't really expect much from that. We should, honestly. But the Heat, they just went to the finals. Now, I know they haven't, like, clicked it into high gear yet, but Jimmy Butler with his haircut, the airplanes and a nice guy, a shooting star, you know what I mean? With like the emo swoosh haircut or whatever, during media day, he was saying that they're going back to the finals and they're going to know Cody Rhodes finished the story. So you're talking about a team that thinks they're going to win a championship, even though that's not really very specific for the beginning of the year, but just in general, a team that is proclaiming that they're going to get back to the finals and win the championship. We just had like this insane comeback with role players. And it wasn't even just like the general, like me slandering the team type stuff. I mean, literal people on two-way contracts were out there giving them the business. Did Armani Brooks miss a shot? Did that man miss a shot? Like, I'm just being honest. I think he was like 6 for 6 from 3. I don't think he missed. And it's like after the first 4, you would think Miami would be like, maybe we should put a hand up or something. I mean, he didn't miss. And then there's other dude with the locks and the country accent, which I know is not very specific. That's about 3 people on the team. I don't know his name. I apologize. I don't know. Is it the Wilson guy? I don't know. I know he's the dude that we drafted in the 30s. I'm just being lazy. I can honestly go get my phone, but I'm just not going to do it. I'm sorry. This is very ironic because we talked about last video how there are a gaggle of individuals on this team whose names I don't have to know yet, but look at me, now I have to know. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? 2 people at the post-game interview with Megan Triplett. I'm talking about the other dude, not Armani Brooks. I'm talking about the other dude, right? He was playing incredible. Basically, the type of stuff that Jalen Johnson is doing for the Hawks is basically what this man was doing, minus the dunking, of course. But there wasn't really many fast break opportunities for that to be the case, but that's not here. I don't even think we had a dunk the entire game. I remember hearing them say it at the end of the telecast or whatever. It was like the something, what's the name of that joint? Bigelow something, dunk of the game or something. We didn't have a dunk apparently, so it's like, yeah, but where was I going with that? Jalen Johnson. Oh, okay. So typical small forward behavior is what this dude was giving, and I was loving every second of it. It was giving a couple flashbacks to some older Nets that I'm not gonna bring up because y'all told me to get over it. But it is giving Nets of the recent past that we just let go for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So it's good to see. If he starts doing the Spider-Man dunk, I'll say buddy's back. But y'all told me to let him go, so I won't say it. That's enough talking in code. I think this man, we drafted him. It's good that we gave him a chance to play. Again, it always takes individuals having the next man up mentality, being a part of the, get ready group or whatever, to be able to step up in the biggest moments and show what it is that they can do to showcase their talents or whatever. And again, this is someone that we drafted, so that's awesome. It wasn't clowny for everyone who's gonna say that it wasn't him. It was the other dude. I feel like it's the Wilson guy. I'm pretty sure his last name is Wilson. I might be wrong, but that's neither here nor there. But they both played incredibly well. The Wilson dude, again, assuming I'm talking about the right guy, y'all have already flamed me in the comments, I'm sure, was playing very aggressively, had a couple mean mugs. I think he hit it like a pretty clutch 3 too. I'm pretty sure, but that's not here nor there. Obviously, Armani Brooks played well. Someone else who I got to shine the spotlight on because I was pushing him down the stairs all last year. Finney Smith. He was advertised to have a jump shot of some kind, specifically a 3-pointer. I didn't see it last year. It is here, and it is here to stay. Shout out to that man. You want to talk about stretching the floor, spacing the floor, excuse me. But played incredible. Obviously, the defense was there, but played great. I thought that Ben Simmons, for all intents and purposes, played really well. He had a really, really insane block. I think he lost the ball at one point, but then he just runs back and smacks it off the glass. He had a crazy chase down block. I thought some of the assists were out of this world. I thought he was able to remain composed for the most part of the entire game. And he had a couple, I wouldn't say clutch shots, but a couple cool shots. Towards the beginning of the game, he had this shot where he had the ball in the post, maybe on Tyler Hero or something like that, and he literally just bent backwards and just laid it in. I thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. But I thought everybody played really well. Mikal Bridges before He had the rib injury. I thought he was playing decent, but then he comes back and then starts playing out of his mind again. You know, had a really passionate and one where he felt the need to scream at our bench. I thought that was really cool. He had a contested 3 in front of the front row of the American Airlines or whatever Miami's arena was, where he, you know, pointed towards the crowd and he did the celly joint. You know, he did a lovely job. Cam Thomas overall, I thought, played fine. Again, there are no plays, so I don't know how you can be efficient when there's no plays being drawn up. You know, I saw Jacque Vaughn had like a list of things on a piece of paper. I feel like that had to have been like a sushi to go menu or something like that, because he's not drawing plays, so I can't imagine what is on that piece of paper. Well, it was neatly folded origami style, so clearly he's not reading anything, but that's not here or there. But I will not slander Jacque Vaughn in this video because he did a very good job, and I do not think that it is just the talent of the players that was able to carry us through. Whatever Jacque Vaughn is telling these individuals, they have bought in 1,000%. They are drinking the Kool-Aid. I mean, Jacque is full of crap, but they are drinking the Kool-Aid and they're buying into the system, and that is all we can ask for. Now we have to ask the question, do we need to adjust the trajectory of the season because they've won 2 games in a row and we're 2-2? The answer is no. Absolutely not. It's wonderful to be 500, but I don't want anyone to take anything from this and start getting a inflated ego or something of that nature. Yes, we're 500. Yes, we're 2 for 2, and I'm pretty sure I got that record right, but let's not forget who we are. Let's not forget what the plan is, develop what we have, and move on from there. But it is very encouraging that we were able to not only maintain the lead, but keep the lead and win, which is all I've been asking for honestly the last 2 games. Because again, if they are just trash and we're going to get blown out, we'll take it. But if they are good enough to take the lead, why are they not good enough to maintain the lead? But now we're seeing that they're able to close, and they're doing it with a carousel. I mean, just a never-ending rotating door of individuals in certain spots. Jacque Vaughn's system clearly seems to be working, because it doesn't matter who's in the lineup, doesn't matter who's playing, they're going to play the exact same way with the same mentality. I also like the fact that even though these 2 rookies, even though Armani Brooks is not a rookie, but even though these 2 individuals who are on 2-way contracts, I believe, were cooking and stuff, Jacque Vaughn still took them out and let the starters come back in. And Cam Thomas was one of the starters. And we saw a closing rotation of individuals who started. I believe that was Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges, Royce O'Neal, which thank God he started, and Finney Smith. We saw Jacque Vaughn stick to the plan, stand on business, if you will. I just... That type of growth from coach is beautiful. And maybe he just has more trust in his players. I'm not quite sure, but that was a reassuring sign to me. Believe it or not, I have no slander for Jacque Vaughn whatsoever. I could. Trust me, I could, but I have no slander whatsoever. Y'all know how it goes. A dub is a dub. When they win a game, I have no slander whatsoever, unless something's just sitting on my heart. When they win a game, I'm not going to say anything negative. So shout out to the Nets for beating the Heat. That's a shocker. I didn't have that on my bingo card, but we're here. We are here. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Again, I don't want to get too critical on anything, and I don't want to go too hard on anything just because it's game 4. I just really want to make sure that I say shout out to Jacque Vaughn, because this is probably the first time ever, with the exception of his work in the bubble, to where I could say you did an excellent job tonight. I say we won the... Jacque Vaughn outcoached Eric Spoelstra. I never thought I would ever utter that sentence. Ever. Subscribe and such. See, I don't like putting that at the end. I feel like that's like really like wild. I have like the mic drop moment of like the summary of the video and then just say subscribe. But I feel like it's a little weird. But that's not here or there. See y'all Friday. Hey.